So I was reading an article yesterday because I've been complaining about this for a while. Get your buns back to work. Come on, man. We got to get this planet moving again. People don't want to work. And in this article yesterday, it said the reason why people don't want to work is because they have the power of choice. The choice is I don't have to work. And number two, I don't have to be treated the way that I am here. So therefore, I'm going to this other job. So we're flip-flopping jobs like people flip-flop churches. I'm going here. 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 So okay, how about if we kind of focus up a bit here and kind of find some loyalty and some drive, some perseverance. And even though times might be tough where you are in a new position, come on, you got to stick there because what we're teaching the next generation is how to be a quitter. Unplugged because we will always say yes to creativity. Totally uncut because we all make mistakes. So turn it into a tool. This is Arroe Unplugged. Have you ever stared into a cup of coffee? I don't put any milk or anything like that. Sugar, I don't put anything like that in. I just have plain black coffee. It looks ugly in a cup. And I think what makes it ugly is that it's going inside your body, that color. Ugh. Sure, I like the effects of coffee. Gives me some zing and some zow. But what is it doing to the inner core of my mind, body, and soul? I mean, no, seriously, look at that cup of coffee. I don't have a cup of coffee. I have a mug. I mean, a huge mug. And when I clean this mug, I'm at the kitchen sink because I like doing dishes by myself. I don't like putting it in the dishwasher, and the reason why is because it's a sense of accomplishment. And there's solitude in hearing water run and the warmth of the water on your hands. It just feels so good. And so when I'm washing this gigantic mug that once had coffee in it, the stains on the inside are now on my hands. And so it just makes me go, what am I doing to the inside with this cup of coffee? Ugh. Hey, it's Arroe. This is The Daily Mess, a chronological walk through an everyday world. I am a daily writer. I write about junk like this. Man, I could be sitting here inside this studio in this beautiful forest in South Charlotte, North Carolina, see a red cardinal, and dang if I'm not going to go in the other room and spend the next 35, 40 minutes doing 6 or 7 pages on a cardinal. I'm going to research it. I'm going to research the spirituality of it. What is the message the cardinal is bringing? That's just who I am. I love to write. I love to research. I love content. What do you love? What do you enjoy doing that you've decided, I don't want to do it anymore? It's too much of a problem. I also like mowing the lawn. The problem is, though, living in this forest, I can't get out there with a lawnmower. I've got trees all over the place. I just like the smell of it. I do. Being in the presence of your now, mindfully present, mindfully being right here. This is The Daily Mess. What you don't see cannot be compared to what you assume. Just because doesn't equate to what really is. We live in this age of book covers being judged. I see, therefore it must be. When in reality, you don't know the backstory. Isn't that how we digest today's news? The more they talk about an event, the less we think about it being fake. It's got to be true. They keep talking about it. Oh, I'm extremely guilty of assuming and don't feel comfortable when proven wrong. A coworker is not held accountable these days for not coming to work. They just don't show up. They don't even call in. They just don't show up, which means the workload for the rest of us is now doubled up. Now, the assumption is he's getting away with bad behavior. And then that's when I usually have to tell myself, stop it. Stop it. You don't know the backstory. I'm poisoned by the headlines, trying to explain why we have evolved into a generation of quitters. The article in yesterday's paper proved that. And the reason why we quit is because we can. Because we can. My dad would grab me by the nape of the neck and put his foot up my butt if he saw that we were turning into these quitters. The perseverance, man. The longevity, the loyalty, the determination. What you don't see cannot be compared to what you assume. And we do that. I could be sitting in the car, look to my left and go, that's an airhead over there, and not even really know that he's not an airhead, that he happens to be listening to his favorite song and he's headbanging to it. What we don't see cannot be compared to what we assume. Just because doesn't equate to what really is. We live in an age of book covers being judged. I see, therefore it must be, when in reality, you don't know the backstory. My family, and this one was a tough one to bite, and it did affect me the other night. 3 people in my family, the same moment, my mother, my sister, and my brother, all landing in the hospital with COVID-19. You read about these stories all the time. You read about them. You go, it's not true. And you convince yourself. You don't know the backstory. And so, I spent all day yesterday calling the hospital, getting information about my brother, my mother, and my sister, and trying to have that connection or that reconnection with people that I've not seen in several years. And it's like, how can we be in this moment? Because it's happening. It's called a pandemic. So then the question would be, how come you haven't seen them in such a long time? Well, from where I am, I've judged the book by the cover. From where they are, they have done the same thing. We don't know the back story. That we've all been so freaking busy trying to keep our jobs and trying to move forward with our jobs, because that's the way my dad was. My dad was like, you're going to go to that job. I don't care if you hate it or not. You're going to go do your job. That's what we've been doing. And so while people have been not going to work, we have been working. So we've disconnected because of working. Not that we've ghosted each other. It's just we didn't know the back story. So how do we make the backstory the front story without it making it sound like that I want you to jump into my hole and give me sympathy and empathy? You see what I mean? It's like, so there's got to be a balance there. And that's one of the things that we need to start putting focus on. And the only way you're going to find that balance is by way of awareness. Be aware of who really counts in your life and what really counts. Become noticeable without becoming the road sign. Do you know what I mean by that? You don't have to have all the attention all the time. What you need is just to be family. Get to know each other's backstory. Get back to loving. Hold each other, even if it's on Zoom. Just embrace. I'm Arroe, and that's the Daily Mess.